Hi Mary, my name is Sue Kolbike and I'm from the Elbow Lake Lions and I'm about to become district governor for the Lions in this area.
How did you get tied into this project?
Well, I got a call one day from Debbie Lacey from the Food Shelf, who's also a Lion, and was aware that I had written a grant previously for this area for a handicap accessible fishing pier at our local campground. And so she thought I might have some knowledge about grants that might be available from Lions International. Debbie and I started having meetings with Eric and looking at the scope of the project and what the costs were going to be and a lot of the details. And then I started to put the package together that we send into Lions International for review by all the international directors. There's 150 directors from around the world. Lions is the largest service organization in the world. And so these directors make a lot of important decisions about how all the funds we raise are spent on big projects. The max you can apply for is $100,000, so we thought, why not shoot for the sky? And that's exactly what they awarded us. And it was something about that grant kind of giving credibility to the whole project. And then other grants started to come in and more donations from local folks started to come in. And it's just taken off from there.
So what was the idea, in addition to education, for starting the greenhouse?
Well, this is a hunger grant through Lions International. And so we had to show them how we would be providing food to the communities around here. So we are providing food to the food shelves. The kids will be selling food at farmers markets around the area. So they're gaining experience on writing business plans and marketing plans. And through the whole process, and at the beginning, Debbie Lacey is the director of the food shelves in Elbow Lake and in Hoffman. And she's also a Lion. So it worked really well that we were able to tie these organizations together.
I'm Debbie Lacey. I'm from the Grant County Emergency Food Shelf, Hoffman Kensington Food Shelf, as their coordinators. Also, I'm a local farmer and a local Lion from the Wendell Lions.
What does this program mean for the things that you're involved in?
It brings research back to our kids, teaching them. And for me as a farmer, my husband is on the Minnesota Research Council. The researchers from the U of M were complaining about that they didn't have researchers who are understanding ag. Another thing is I'm a food shelf coordinator for 2 food shelves in Grant County. And we were noticing that my produce was coming from local grocery stores, from the food banks, was almost towards the end of their life. So it was either try to push it out the door or you wound up throwing it away, which is not a good thing either. And we wanted fresh produce. By having it here in the county, I get it right at the beginning from the kids. And my clients are looking for the fresh produce. Because I have senior citizens who cannot afford fresh produce. I have families with kids who are learning in our school system how to eat produce and what their bodies need. My husband and I sat down with Eric. That was the first time I got to meet him on my deck at the lake. And I said, Eric, this is our dream. This is what we need as farmers. And Eric was already thinking about it, and he took the ball and went rolling with it, and we couldn't be more happier.
Well, thanks so much for stopping in and visiting with us. And I'm going to visit with Eric, get some details about this beautiful facility.
Oh, you're going to love it, because what the kids have learned already is just 100 times more than what we thought. You know, you've got boys and girls that are learning how to do electrical, plumbing, plant, grow food, and it's a win-win for our community.
Eric, please tell me what it took to build this greenhouse.
Sure, yeah. So like I said, we had this built by A.J. Lauer Company, and what was great about that decision was they designed this, they talk us through the process. I actually reached out to them back in 2019 when we first started envisioning things, and really got serious in late 2020 when the dollars started to roll in and it looked like we were going to do something. Their engineers talked with us almost on a daily basis about what we were envisioning here, and they tailored it to our needs. And then when that time came, we did a little bit of site excavation just to get the soil ready and conditions in place, and then had a local concrete company come and lay the pad. And from there on, the entire rest of the construction was done by the company, the Greenhouse Construction Company. They designed everything, they installed it so that they know how all those components needed to go together. So any of those issues, I didn't even have to deal with very many wrinkles in the process. And then the watering system, the heating system, the ventilation, they do all of those components. There's even a computer modulation system that's app-based that I use to run this greenhouse. All of that is run through their programming. Not only that, but if I wanted to, it's smarter than me. I can say, I want the curtains to be opened up, and it'll say, well, it's a little too sunny, or it's a little too windy for the ventilation. I don't want the vents to blow open because of a strong north wind tonight, or something like that. And it'll ask me again if I'm sure if I want to do that, and stop me if I shouldn't. Yeah, it's amazing.
So do the students learn about that too?
Oh, absolutely. So our students have access to the app. So I have greenhouse managers that have taken our plant science class successfully that I've kind of hand selected. They are in control of this operation, and they can make that adjustment from their phone, from home. There's a trust level there that's obviously built up, but definitely we want them to know and experience that so that if they have an interest in plant production, that they've got the experience before they ever leave high school.
So do you have more horticulture things besides just this greenhouse?
We sure do, yeah. And actually during that whole fundraising process, our local electric cooperative actually donated what's called a grow shed. It's a self-contained unit. It's all hydroponic. And so what we do in there are nutrient film trays and Dutch buckets. We're raising lettuce in there. We're raising some vining plants, some vegetables in there. We've been able to harvest 36 heads of lettuce on a weekly basis. And when we can get into full production, that is very significant for our local food shelves to be able to do that. And then after the greenhouse was built, there were some dollars that our school had available, and our technical coordinator for the school that works with our computers and our TVs and everything else, he was interested in getting more hands-on experiences for younger students, and he was able to allocate funds, and we bought 8 hydroponic towers, and we split them between our elementary schools. So our 4th graders are raising food every single day, and so the interest in the hands-on plant science is 4th grade through 12th grade now. The greenhouse is on an app, the grow shed is on an app, all the grow towers. This world of technology has quickly made plant science really exciting and engaging for the students.
Is this greenhouse used just during the school year, or is it going to be year-round?
The intention is that this is year-round. We're going to figure out what summer is going to be like. This will be our first summer in here, but our intent is to have a plant sale this spring and use that as a funding source to be able to keep things rolling. But then we're going to plant a lot of vegetable crops here in the spring for the food shelf that we'll raise throughout the summertime, and then we'll go into some kind of a fall setup for a mum sale, do some kind of fall foliage sale or something like that. But then we'll have plant science class both semesters, so that all throughout the year we're going through different periods of growth patterns, with always having not just the flowering plants but those vegetables for the food shelf at the same time.
So did the students start all of the plants from seed, or did you buy some in as cuttings, or how did that happen?
Yeah, great question. It's a combination of all. We want them to start the seedlings. We have a germination chamber here, just like you'd see at a university or some kind of a seed facility, so they can see that germination rate at its highest point. That's great for them. They can understand starting tomatoes or peppers in a germination chamber versus lettuce, which doesn't need that extra heat. And then they move them into a flow table where those seedlings can grow for a while, establish their roots, and then move them into some of our potted areas. Then we will buy some of those plugs. So sometimes it's more effective to buy a flat full of some peppers or a flat full of something else. So we will do that as well so they can see that process. But then we'll do some of our own cuttings as well. We'll take in some tomatoes and do some topping, and then we'll allow them to do the rooting so they can experience that too.
How many students do you have here in the horticulture classes?
So our students that get to experience this, every 9th grader goes through here. So we have a required agriculture class, so we have 60 students that will go through in 9th grade. Then we have our plant science class and our greenhouse managers, and we'll see probably another 40 to 45 students each school year go through that process, along with the middle schoolers and 4th graders using the grow towers. So we really add up the numbers really quickly. And our program has grown from it. We had a recruitment event with our 7th and 8th graders this fall and talked about the greenhouse. And we've really only had 2 or 3 FFA members in our program in 7th and 8th grade. This year we have 35 students that joined FFA and are working in the greenhouse because of it.